Hello, and welcome to Rock Your Block, where we outreach and highlight community impact. I'm your host, Larry Laws. On today's segment of First Home Alliance, our special guest is a 12-year-old businessman. His journey into business started when he was just 9 years old with a single golf ball. He was failing in almost all aspects of a typical third grade school life, with numerous challenging and sometimes misunderstood learning disabilities. He found himself struggling in school and life without the ability to read, write, effectively communicate, or even count past 10. Life felt unsurmountable for Tucker until he quit trying to fit into a typical third grade box and just started following his passion. Now, that first golf ball has evolved in multiple flourishing businesses. Tucker's journey into the world of reselling, entrepreneurship, learning, and his constant perseverance is a lesson and inspiration to young and old. Before meeting Tucker, I would like to first introduce his father, Mr. Ryan Finley. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Larry.
All right. Well, Ryan, I want you to just warm us up a little bit and tell us a little bit about your son, Tucker.
Well, Tucker is both my son and my boss.
Okay.
As a son, he's wonderful. As a boss, he's great too.
Okay.
He's fun to work with and work for. But as a child, Tucker was just learned differently than other kids, and he thought differently than other kids, and he was just different in a way that we couldn't, articulate, and school couldn't really solve for him, and he didn't, school just didn't work for him. But he set out on a path to sort of learn on his own, and we supported it. And, he turned this one golf ball in 3 years into like an enterprise. And it's just been fun to be along for the ride with him. And I don't want to steal his thunder because,
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about, how long have you worked for Tucker? And how did that happen?
So, I had a furniture refinishing business that I did out of the house, just mostly to be with the kids. And then when COVID hit, I had to sort of quit that and sort of homeschool the kids. And at the same time, he was sort of, starting these businesses, and they were building. And by the time, we were almost out of COVID, I said, I'm not going to open up my furniture business. I'm just going to go work for him. and I was like, so that's what we've done here over the last 3 years. I don't know how it sort of transitioned that I started full-time working for him, but it's just been kind of like a home dad thing. And then now it's like, I consider myself his employee and his dad. It's kind of, it's interesting.
Yes, that's amazing. Well, audience, welcome our CEO and founder of Tucker's Treasures. How you doing, Tucker?
Good.
All right. Tell our audience a little bit about you.
Where do you want to start?
Do you have maybe something you like? Maybe a pet? Do you have a pet in the home?
I have a dog. Mm-hmm. He's 120 pounds. He's a beast.
Wow, that's a big pet. Yes. And so, how's the relationship with your dog? What's the dog's name?
Todd.
Todd. Okay.
I found him actually on a pic.
Really?
I found it at. I got some card catalogs. Mm-hmm. For my business, and they were getting rid of Todd, and I fell in love with him, and they're like, "Oh, we're getting rid of him," and I took him the same freaking day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my God.
All right. What are some of the other things you like to do?
I like fishing.
Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. What type of fishing do you do?
I usually just fish in the river and do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And fish at the lake.
And at the lake. Okay. And aside from the business, any other hobbies that you like?
I listen to music. I like music. Like rock music. That kind of music.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, super. Well, that sounds good. But it seemed like you have actually flourished and found your passion early in life.
Yes, I did.
Tell us, how did that all start?
So it started in a river. My neighborhood had a river. Mm-hmm. I found golf balls, and I was like, oh, I could sell golf balls on Facebook. We looked them up on Google, and it was worth a lot of money. And I said, oh, what if I sell on Facebook? So I started cleaning them, selling them. I hired my friends to do golf balls. And then I went. My neighbor had a yard sale and had golf balls. I was like, oh, I don't need to clean them. I'm gonna go buy them at yard sales. And then that weekend, I had 1,500 golf balls. Then I said, oh, my dad did furniture antiques. And I said, wait a minute, what if I sell antiques? Because I went to flea markets and all those places. And I was like, I could sell them. My dad hooked me up a store, and I outgrew that in like 2 months.
Right.
Yeah, I outgrew it. And then I said, can I do eBay? And it got ginormous, you know.
Wow. Yes. And so, how did this work out with you was in school at one time? How was school? How was the classroom?
Not good.
Yeah, but you was in the 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how's you had good friends and nice teachers and a lot of team building and character building.
School's not for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So how much? So what's a normal day? Or
me?
if you can think back in the 3rd grade, what was a normal day then?
Just reading and writing and math, and that's how I think about it.
Reading, writing, math. Okay.
And I hate it. That's how I think about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want to go to school.
Okay.
There's some other stuff you gotta do too, but that stuff's okay. But reading, writing, and math, I'm like, eh.
Yes. Well, tell us about what is a normal day with your golf balls and antique. What was a normal day?
Golf balls, I just go to the river find golf balls. Antiques, we go like every a couple weekends a month to sell at flea markets and those places, and I give some stuff to my dad's friend's booth.
Okay. And won't you share with us maybe a story of
And buy more stuff.
and buy more stuff? Yeah. So walk us through, maybe one of those sales or that you can remember.
Like at Antiques,
Yes.
I sold a propeller. I sold to kid of all things. Like like a propeller for a plane.
Yes.
I sold one of those. I think I sold it for like 150, 200.
Really?
Yeah, that's really cool. And then at the same place, I got a cast iron bell.
Uh-huh.
And now my grandma and granddad sold it in the store, and it's hanging up at the river now. That was a really cool one too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And with this, are you able to? How do you price those things? Antiques.
How I price those things? I usually I buy them at auction. I look them up usually sometimes, and then price them from there. Or like I grew up flea markets, so I know some prices other people prices at. So I look that stuff up too. So
Yes.
some I look up eBay and do some comps, but usually I just know.
Okay. All right. And do you have maybe a group of businessmen that share maybe some thoughts with you? Do you have some?
I have some kids entrepreneur group, and I run it, and my other friend runs it too. And yeah,
Yes. Okay.
pretty cool.
All right. And so, what are some of the common things that you all find? That you all share?
Like our businesses, and sometimes we hang out. They're very smart.
They're very smart, right?
Yeah,
Book smart.
very book smart.
Oh yes.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
One started coding,
Wow.
8 years old, coding.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Okay. Do you like games as well?
like video games?
Video games.
I'm like, I have a room full of them, but do I play with them all day? No. I sell them and make money off them. But the best part about video games is you test them, so that's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I do play video games, but I don't like play them all day.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break here.
All right.
And when we come back, we're going to see where you advance from that golf and the golf balls and antique and see where you're really flourishing in.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We're about to take a short break, but before we go, I would like to remind you that First Home Alliance is a HUD-approved housing counseling agency serving the National Capital Area. If you are a first-time home buyer or homeowner in need of mortgage assistance, please visit the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development website to find a HUD-approved agency in your area. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
With First Home Alliance. A little bit about First Home Alliance. We are a HUD-approved housing casting agency that was established in 2002 by our executive director, Larry Law. He established the nonprofit. He established it because his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65. And everyone was like, how did you do that? Because her income was really low. And so that's how he found out about the USDA program. And so through the USDA program, his mother was able to purchase her first home. It intrigued him to see how he could help individuals basically experience the American dream of homeownership. So he established the nonprofit. Mission is to increase home ownership to low to moderate income families. And so what does First Home Alliance do?
Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Larry Laws of First Home Alliance. If you're just now tuning in, we're joined today with the 12-year-old CEO and founder of Tucker's Treasure. Tucker, before the break, we talked about you getting started in the business, and
Yeah.
we're talking about those antiques and things like that. How did you transition from into eBay? How did that happen?
Since like COVID hit and all that, and I just before COVID, I started when I was 9, and I was just like, yeah, I outgrew all of the antique stores and all of that, and I'm like, okay, it's eBay time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so on eBay, did it just catch you? What got you hooked?
I bought a bike at a yard sale for $6, and I flipped it for $500
Wow.
in a day.
In one day.
And it was my first time I got $100 bills. I freaked out.
Yes. Yes. And so how did you determine the value?
I had one at my house. My dad had his old Haro BMX bike from the 80s, and I said, my dad's like, no, you don't want that because you need to fix it all up. It was just the frame and the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And I started $500.
Yes.
And the guy who bought it was like a Hispanic guy, and he had a whole barn full of bikes.
Okay.
It was crazy. Like, he had barns full of bikes.
Yes.
Craziest thing I ever seen.
Yes. Okay.
Well, I heard about it. Everybody's like, he gets the bike first. He's the first one.
Okay.
So I was like, what?
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. That was
Yes.
just the craziest.
Okay.
That hooked me, and that yard sale was $6 for the bike. And I put it $500. I'm like, oh, I got to do this for a living.
Yes. Okay. And so where you found bikes, and so what are some of the other things, other good finds? How do you find them?
How I find them?
Yes.
I find them on Facebook, Craigslist, Treasure Map. Yard Sale Treasure Map has yard sales on it, and it treasure maps it. So that one's really cool. And then I have Facebook and Craigslist is where I find the yard sales. So yeah.
Okay. And yes. And so and also you get these items. Do you have a place? Where do you keep all this stuff?
My dad had a furniture business, and we got rid of it, all of it. Like, so he had 2 sheds, and then I took the operation and took the 2 sheds. I took the garage, and I took the basement.
You took the sheds, the garage, and the basement.
2 sheds, yeah.
2 sheds.
Yeah.
Yes. And so what do you? I mean.
It was 2,500 square feet stuff.
So you don't do you buy like small items, one at a time? Or how do you purchase?
Now like when I start now or like back then.
Well, now.
Now I just focus on big buys. I just bought 10,000 items.
Okay.
That was a crazy lot.
Okay. Yes. All right. And so you get these things. Do people look for you, or you find them, or?
I find them usually. Like, I go on Craigslist, Facebook, and I troll, basically. I usually troll. I have alerts set up, and anytime that those things pop up, I basically say, hey, I want to buy it. And I usually look at it, and I'm trying to find 20 things I can make my money back off.
Okay.
My money. So I'm like, okay, there's 20 items I can make my money off, and I'll say, okay, I'll buy it. I need those 20 items to make my money back, you know?
Okay.
To make my money back, and then I make some other money. And now I'm like, okay, I need to find those 20 items and make my money back, and then everything else profit. That's how I kind of work. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Take care of the break even, and
Yeah.
then you go profit there. That's great. That sounds great. Now,
Yep.
what about the buyers? How do you attract buyers?
I have promoting listings, so since search engine it goes first, and it goes. People come to me. It's not the other way around. Like I gotta find them. It's like they come to me because literally you see them in search engine. It's like, oh, he has this, and then they're like, oh, I'll buy it. You know, like it's like there's a lot of collectors who buy this kind of stuff. So they're looking for one specific thing.
Right.
So you want. So I pay for to be on search results first. So the first person sees mine's.
Okay.
And I pay a little fees on that, but it helps me because I'm the first one to see it. So I'm the first one, and that's kind of nice.
Okay,
I
move up
promote
on it.
eBay listings, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And what are some of the things that you focus on? And do you have certain items you're looking at?
Toys and video games, that's what sells, moves off the shelf like immediately. That.
Oh yeah.
It's my dad's age.
Oh yeah.
He wants that stuff back.
Yeah.
They finally have income, so they're like, ooh, I want to buy some toys.
Yeah. Toys that I wished I could have. At
Yeah,
an
and
early
they're like,
time. Now
oh,
I can
let's
get
go
'em.
play with them.
Yes.
My kids are like, I don't want to play toys anymore. I'm like, you know, adults play with toys.
Yes. Adults do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And you pay crazy money for it. I'm like, what?
Yes. Well, some of the I understand that you work with some other groups. Some other entrepreneurs. What are you promoting?
Like groups?
Yes. The other entrepreneurs and business.
I have kid entrepreneur group, and then I have some adults. I'm gonna talk to adults in a couple of weeks.
Yes. And then what are some of the questions the adults have?
I just talk, and usually their questions are like, oh, how to get my business bigger, how to do this, how to do that. I just help them.
Yes. Okay. How did this come so easy? It seems like easy for you.
I talk to hundreds of people a day, so I'm used to it.
Okay.
Probably you're used to it too. I know that.
Sort of. I'm getting there. Yes.
Not hundreds of people a day, but I talk to a lot of people.
Okay. And for the youth, what's some of the questions they have in reference to moving forward?
They're like, how to get a business bigger? What's the scalability? This, and then they ask me questions too, so it's kind of cool in that way. I try to help them.
Okay. Yes. And so you actually purchased. I think my wife was trying to go out of business. And so,
Yes.
And so you came and purchased quite a bit, and I really appreciate it because she's supposed to be retiring. So, so you bought basically her whole store.
Yeah, she said she has more.
Yeah. Well, she can't stop. She can't stop.
Oh, I have better stuff.
Yes.
I'm hiding. I'm like, ooh.
She's hiding. I didn't know that. Now.
Not hiding it, but she's like,
Yes,
she has
probably
barns
is.
and stuff.
Yes.
She said she has like some sheds or something like that.
Yes. And so, how many businesses that you have purchased?
4.
You're 4.
3 or 4. It's
Okay.
a lot. The first one was 10. I was 10 years old, and my biggest one was recently your wife's.
Yes.
That I took 3 days,
Yeah. Yes. You guys.
but it was totally worth it.
Oh, great. Yes, great. Y'all came up and filled the trailer up a couple of times.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yes. Yes. And I understand now that that you're selling your golf balls, a business.
Yeah, I'm selling them to my friend. Loves cleaning golf balls. I'm like,
Okay.
I hate cleaning golf balls. I'm like, Now when they're like 50-50 split, I'm like, you can do the golf balls. Like you love cleaning them, perfect, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I don't like cleaning them. I love finding them. I still find them because it's so much fun to find.
Yes.
Because you never know how many golf balls you're gonna find a day. Like it's something relaxing about it. I don't know. It's weird, but it's relaxing.
Relax. I guess it's sort of like fishing too, right?
Kind of.
Kinda, right?
But what I don't like about fishing is it takes so long. Golf balls, you step on one. You walk across the river, you step on like 25 of them.
Really?
When I first started,
Yes.
hundreds of them you're stepping on. You couldn't even walk in a river out stepping on a golf ball.
Okay. And so you're still finding golf balls, but you have
I'm
sold the business, let
I'm
him.
supplying him.
You're supplying him. Okay. That sounds pretty good. Yes.
I love it because he's cleaning them. He loves cleaning them. I'm like, oh, perfect. You know?
Do you imagine how many adults that are actually, one, trying to start a business, two, trying to start a second business, but
Yeah.
that get around to actually one of the business they start, they selling it to someone else?
Yeah.
Yes, but you seem to have just had fun, and it was a very good flow there. Yes. So how was that so easy for you?
For me, I just love scaling. It's weird about me. I'm like, it's addiction. Like I just keep rolling it, see how big I get it. I'm like, it's so much fun. It's my favorite part is to see how big it gets. Like, I'm like, it's fun. So what I think about is like every day, wake up, how big I can get it, and think about it. And I'm like, maybe it's a hobby. Like, you know, if you have a hobby, just have fun. If you're running an actual business, you gotta think about it and say, hey, how can I get it bigger? I wake up every morning and say, how can I get my business bigger? That's how I think about it. You know?
Yes.
Everybody thinks different ways.
True. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But I really like that. And so, if you're talking to the audience out there, that some are sitting on the fence, they're sitting on the fence actually to get that first business started. How do they, find that passion, and how do they do that?
Do what you like. Like, do what you love doing. 'Cause you know what the secret is? You're not gonna get paid what you're bad at. You're gonna get paid what you're good at. So you're really good at baseball. You're gonna get paid to do baseball. If you're really good at entrepreneur, you're gonna get paid to be entrepreneur. That's kind of how it works. And you're not gonna pay what you're bad at. You're gonna pay what you're good at.
Okay. All right. Is that now? And so, do someone need to tell you what you're good at, or how do you identify that?
How you identify it? Like, I identified mine by myself. But most people are like, oh my God, you're so good at it. You should, you should. I don't know. That's a great question.
Right. So you should, I guess, listen if someone's telling you're good, and you sort of like feel that you are. Then maybe that's it.
Yeah. I felt like I was good at it. Out of everything I was bad at, I figured out what I was good at. So don't think about what everything you're bad at. Like, okay, let's say you're bad at these things. I'm like, okay, I'm bad at those things. But I'm like, what's I'm good at? So I'm like, okay, figure out what you're bad at, and then figure out what you're good at.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. Well, Tucker, I want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing that. Again, I think that's a very...
Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here, and you're an inspiration to again the youth, and also definitely a lot of older people as well. Yes. And so look forward to seeing you around again, and I'm definitely going to follow you. Okay. Why don't you tell our audience how they can follow you, and where do you store your information, and how can they follow you?
How can
they follow you on social media, websites?
How can you follow me? I have Tucker's Vintage Treasures. You look up on Google. It's my eBay store, and then Facebook is Kid Picker. So you can find me Kid Picker on Facebook, and then we're gonna open a YouTube channel soon. So that'll be fun.
Okay. Well, sounds good. Well, again, thank you, and good luck in your
meet you.
business. Nice to meet you as well. Hey, Ryan? Yeah, thanks. All right. Thank you, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this interview with Tucker Findley and found his journey and accomplishments amazing. Now it's time to check out Inbox and see how we can help rock your blog. This is where we share a recent question sent to us from you, our viewing audience, about financial stability and housing. Today's question comes from Springfield, Virginia. How do I improve my credit? That's a good question. We get asked that often. I would suggest start by first establishing a savings, reducing your debt, and establishing a good spending plan. And tackle your savings like you would actually tackle your record. Basically, change your behavior and it reflect your spending behavior and it reflect on your credit. I'm Larry Laws of First Home Alliance, and it has been my pleasure sharing with you our mission and highlighting the impact of our services. If you have questions about financial fitness or how we can help make your dream of homeownership a success, send your question to our inbox. And tune in to our show next time to see if your question was selected to be shared with our audience. You can easily get more information about our services by visiting us on the web at firsthomealliance.org. Thank you for watching today's segment of First Home Alliance, and join us next time to rock your block.
Glad to know that, some of this stuff about credit and buying houses is written down somewhere. A lot of the times it's always hearsay, like other friends or family members who have bought houses before, but they can never, tell you legit what you need to get done and do before buying a house.
I definitely think this class should be required for all first home buyers because a lot of times the real estate agent doesn't explain the process to you. So I think this is very important.
It's from the credit up to receiving a loan, and the most important thing is the process that you go through when you're buying the house, and there are a lot of process which you don't have idea about that before you take this class.
Speakers who came up and spoke about each section, they were very knowledgeable in their field, and I felt like it was relatable. They didn't just throw out a whole bunch of terms that went over my head, but they really explained it in a way to where I understood it, and I could even explain it to my children, and it was even easier for me to take home and kind of remember and process and apply to my next steps. The process was amazing.
They start first with a class before even finding a lender or agent. Because I did all that and I wasn't able to purchase, and then I was like, you know what, there's a lot of information I'm not aware of. Let me just start from the beginning to put everything on hold. Start from
Piecing the information together, because you've heard things about the loans and about this and about the credit, but this is like a summary, and it just gives a clear flow of where to go with what you have and kind of building up a plan. So that kind of gives me a whole picture of where I needed to go and how to get there.